IDB Invest is set to come to the Caribbean for the first time this May, bringing its Sustainability Week to Barbados. The move signals a growing push by the Inter-American Development Bank Group to deepen private sector investment across the region. But even as the IDB Group explores new ways to support Caribbean growth, leaders from the region say the Caribbean may hold more of the answers than it thinks. Amoy Harriet files this report.
In a world where distant conflicts can affect even the smallest economies, Caribbean leaders are being forced to think bigger and closer to home. Tonight, Finance Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Kennedy Swaratsing, talks to us about why the region may need to stand together now more than ever.
As in any regional institution or bodies, again, relationships by definition ebb and flows. There are ways in which we can, as a community, as a regional community, use the strength of the region. So there was a time, for example, we talked about Guyana being the food baskets of the Caribbean. You know, aggregate being developed in St. Vincent and Dominica and so on.
It's against this backdrop, Minister Swaratsing says countries ought to be focused on building the non-hydrocarbon sector. He believes this is a solution for the Caribbean to weather geopolitical shocks.
Because we continue to be exposed to shocks. As I said initially, both positively and negatively. There are times when those external shocks will impact positively and the price of oil and gas will go up. And there are times when it will impact negatively and the price of oil and gas will go down. It happened to us in the 80s. That's when we went to the IMF in 1986, 1990 administration, you know, and of course in those days, you're too young to know, but in those days we had to reduce cola and other things and so on. When the price of oil went down to about $10, you know, so sustainable development requires greater predictability. In fact, I would also want to advocate a greater use of methanol as a fuel for energy production, as well as opposed to, so that we find ways in which we can use the strength of the region.
In the meantime, in just over 2 months, IDB Invest is set to come to the Caribbean for the first time. Leonardo Mazet is Principal ESG Officer of IDB Invest.
This is a tremendously important topic where the Caribbean can not only be sort of in the lead, but can also be an example for many other economies to play. So we are investing significantly in creating a pipeline of projects that look at ocean health and blue economy opportunities.
He says resilient infrastructure is one of the IDB's main goal.
And ensuring that the infrastructure is being conceived and thought through and upgraded so that it can really withstand some of the challenges that it is confronted with. The other one is really helping, you know, energy solutions that are able to continue the decarbonization agenda of our countries in the Caribbean. And I think that's another vehicle of opportunity. Another one that I really want to emphasize is, again, adaptation from an enterprise standpoint. Why would a company be concerned about adaptation? What does it mean for their business? Well, what we know is that there is a very significant long-term competitiveness and efficiency gains in investing in adaptation solutions.
Reporting from Asuncion, Paraguay, I'm Amoy Harriet for CVM News.